In today's episode of the Hexagon Challenge, we catch you guys up on our first transfer window in charge at Monaco, and we also have a pretty important Ligue game against Lille. We will tell you guys why after we recap the results since we were last on camera. Let's get into it. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Hexagon Challenge here on Shaun Does FM. I hope you are doing well. I hope you enjoyed your Easter weekend. It is Easter Monday when I'm filming this, just been out with the family for an outdoor barbecue, the luxuries of being in New Zealand, all that good stuff. I hope you guys had a nice weekend wherever in the world you are. If you do enjoy today's video, then please do leave a thumbs up on it, and if you are new here, please consider subscribing to the channel and turning that notification bell on. It is greatly appreciated, and you guys are being kept up to date when a new video does drop on the channel. So we will get into this transfer window at the end of the last episode, the Going Farming episode. We did go through our transfer plans with our $93 million New Zealand transfer budget. Not as much as I thought it would be. We'll get that out the way first. To improve a squad here at Monaco, you do need to spend quite a bit of money, I've realised, and we didn't have enough to do quite the damage I would like. And one of the positions I did want to strengthen, goalkeeper, we left alone. That is largely because the guy we have in there does have quite a bit of potential. But we'll run you guys through this transfer window. So obviously we joined on Christmas Eve, so all the stuff after that is the stuff that we have done here in 2027. So we'll start off with the outgoings. There's not a lot here of note. They're all players who were either kind of under 21s, under 19s here I should say. Players who didn't quite have the full potential to, in my opinion, get involved in the first team. So most of them going out on loan, going out for free transfers because we weren't going to renew their contracts. Only a couple with okay money. The first was Emil Spierwak. He went to Marseille for 3.1 million. It will rise to 5. It is going to be paid in installments. He is a left back, which is an area that I was looking to improve. He doesn't look to have the potential to get involved with my team, I believed anyway. You can see my scouts have doubts over him, so we let him go, and we did a straight swap transfer-wise for him. And the other player we let go for a decent amount was Nekmi Topayan, a Turkish striker. He went to Royal Antwerp for $4 million. He's a decent striker. His finishing's actually gone down since I've been at the club, and for 22 years old, another player who probably wasn't going to ever get involved in our team. You can see his potential there. He's only ever going to get to 3 at the very most, and we somehow got more up front for him than Spierwak, so that seemed like a good deal. All the rest, just players who were really rubbish, just lying around the club and not worth keeping hold of. In terms of the players that were bought in, it starts at Jeremy Makengo. He is the guy we bought in to replace Spierwak from PSG. You can see he's got slightly more about him, according to my scouts he did anyway. 3 million he is worth. We spent 2.6 million on him. It is a cheaper deal than the player we got in for him. We'll go back to his profile. It could rise to 4.3, but the way we've layered that deal, it is unlikely. I think he looks a better player than Spierwak if we get a comparison, if we can. You sort of see he's a little bit better at most things apart from speed, and then the mentals are the same, so I think it's a good swap, that one, for essentially a pretty similar price. So we did that one. He is a player who is going to be lying around our under-19s in the B team, though, for the most part. After that, we spent some big money. Now, the transfer fees here are not the whole deal. First off, we got Rodrigo Macedo from Real Madrid. We spent 30 million up front. The installments that we're paying are going to take that up to 50 million. When I first got here, up front we had Flavio Henrique, the Brazilian wonder kid, who I think is better on the wing because he's got really good dribbling first touch. If we go to him in our squad, you'll see he's on there now. We'll deal with this again in a minute, but you see on the inside forward, he's using more of those dribbling and is able to use his pace a bit more than he is up front. And his finishing, while it's getting better, it wasn't great when we first got here, and he was blowing a few good chances when he was playing up front on his own. I just thought it might not hurt to strengthen up there. And also, in the first couple of games I had in charge before this deal went through, Callum Hudson-Odoi was utter rubbish. That's why he's not on the team at the moment. Ironically, he's actually been quite good in a few games since then. But Hudson-Odoi was really not delivering for me, so I thought we might need to strengthen up front when we made the decision that we weren't going to bring in a goalkeeper. So Macedo is the result of that. He looks a pretty good prospect. You can see we spent 30 million on him. It's going to rise to 50, but he's valued at 60 million New Zealand dollars. As I said in the last episode, I probably should change this. If you guys want me to change the dollar value down to euros or pounds, let me know, because it's probably a good time to do it now. It is just cut in half, New Zealand dollar to pounds. He's got similar physical stats to Ligue, but his finishing is a bit better, and he's not as good a dribbler, and he just seems a bit better suited to being up front, and we can put Ligue on the wing then. So I thought that was a good deal. It gave us a bit more firepower up front, I felt. So we bought him in. You can see he's actually started really well here. He's played 6 games and got 5 goals. We'll recap what we've done off camera in a minute. And the next deal came through on the same day. I delayed it because I was afraid I was spending far too much money. I probably have, but we needed a fullback. I ended up going with a right back instead of a left back. And we got Paul Tessier, I believe is how you say that. The I after the E is throwing me out a bit. I think it's Tessier. We got him from Cannes. We spent 60 million up front, but we're doing 3 12-month installments of 30 million each, so it's 150 million. He was the best option I could get as a fullback for the cheapest price, who I thought was good enough for the squad. Anyone else would have been more than 150 million overall, and this guy my scouts loved. When you get the recommendation that comes up when you haven't yet signed a player, this guy was rating 90 out of 100, so my scouts were really impressed by him. I'm a little bit worried about his crossing, but he's only 21 years old. He's got a stack of potential, so he's going to improve. The rest of his stats for the role that we're looking him to play do look good. He started off okay. He's a bit hot and cold, but hopefully he can do a job for us. He's obviously a regen. He's come into the game at Cannes since we started. We'll see how he gets on. At the very worst, I'd like to make profit from him in the future, or at least get our money back, and if we can find a better alternative. Yeah, he was the best that we could get, and my scouts loved him. I don't think I've signed a player up in the 90s of those scout recommendations before. I don't think I've had one in the save yet, so I trusted my scouts. We brought him in. He's good. He is good. He's done a decent job for us, but a little bit hot cold. Not the tallest player either, but he's got, as I said, plenty of potential, and hopefully he will fulfill that with some regular game time. After that, we brought in a couple of players right on transfer deadline day. One from South Africa, Joseph Kubeka. He came in for 500k plus a few extra installments, which hopefully we won't have to pay. He is hanging around the second team for the most part, just providing us with some squad depth. Looks a decent prospect. 500k, I thought it was okay, 250,000 pounds. I thought that was not a bad deal for a player like that. And then our under 19 coach wanted to bring Grossi in from Torino, and I said okay. He's currently been sent back out on loan, but looks a decent centre back, left back prospect at 20 years old, considering that we only spent $27,000 on him. So that's the transfer business. What that's meant for the first team now, you would have remembered from last episode, I did say I was actually looking to bring a left back in because Mert Mulder was on the right then. We couldn't find any good left backs, so Mert Mulder being able to play right back and left back has meant that that Tessier deal did make sense. So that's why we splashed the cash there. And up front, the other changes in the team since you were last here. Dembele on the right wing, Henrique on the left. He does like to run down the left, so that's a nice position for him. As I said, you look at Henrique's stats, he's got better dribbling and first touch. He's quick as anything, good balance, good pace. I think he's a more natural winger than a striker, even though it doesn't appear so with the green dots, but I think he's better off out there. And we'll put Mikado up front, and he's actually started in really good form. On the bench, we've got some good players on here. Hudson-Odoi has actually done a really good job, and we have called on him since I brought Mikado in, so that's ironic. And we've still got Loftus-Cheek, Stamenek, Solillo. We've got some good 3-star, 2.5-star options on the bench. And after that, we've still got likes of Martinez, Quata, Koulibaly, and Gelson Martins on the bench. Also, Loman Lega, a young left back coming through the club in the under-19s. So some good options there. Not the overall squad depth I would like, but hopefully we survive here for long enough that we can build that up and start contending for some silverware. So that is what we have done in the transfer window. You will also note that with Jason Denayer, we have not been able to sign him to a new contract. He wanted to be an important player. I don't think he's that good, so he is going to join Feyenoord at the end of the season. Gelson Martins in a similar situation, but no one has come in for him yet, so we'll see what we can do there. I'm not hopeful of keeping him because he wants too good a contract. He wants to also be an important player, and we've got the likes of Dembele and Henrique ahead of him, and even Hudson-Odoi and Solillo have got a bit more potential than him now, so he's probably a player who's going to be phased out. We'll see if we can keep him, because he's about the level I'd like players to be here, but if he wants a contract that I don't want to give him, then he's not going to stay here. But that is the state of the squad. We also had to deal with the African Cup of Nations after that transfer window, and Tapsoba in particular was a player who we did miss while he was away with Burkina Faso. Luckily, Burkina Faso aren't that good, so we got him back fairly soon. If we go and look at our results since we were last here, now we had that friendly against Real Zaragoza just after we joined the club. We started off pretty scratchy while the players were getting familiar with the tactic. You will notice, we'll just quickly go back to tactics to show you guys this, they are a lot better off with their tactical familiarity. Now you can see those tactical familiarity bars are far fuller than they were when we first got here. So the non-stop football we have had since we got here has actually been of benefit to us. We started off pretty rough. We drew 0-0 in the Coupe de France 9th round against the Championship National team in Grenoble for 38. We got through on penalties. It was a pretty average penalty shootout too. Tapsoba, our best penalty taker, missed, as did, I can't remember who else actually missed now, but it wasn't a great effort, but we got through on penalties. We then played Marseille in the League, another 0-0 draw, a game that we really dominated. We'll look at the stats quickly for this one. I don't know how we didn't win this one. We did a lot of yellow cards, but you look at the stats, 6 shots on target. They did nothing. We were very unlucky not to get a point out of that, but against the team who were then in 3rd position, that wasn't a bad result. Since then, we've been really good in the Coupe de France. You can see that we've been beating teams pretty comfortably, albeit all these teams in a lower division than us. We are now in the semi-final of that competition. The winner of the Coupe de France does get a Europa League group stage spot, so that is a little bit of a carrot dangling in front of us, especially considering in that 9th round, PSG got knocked out. Then in the 10th round, the likes of Lyon, Marseille, they're already out of this competition. If we look at the semi-finals of it, it is Stade Rennais, Reims, us, and Nîmes Olympique who we're playing in the semi-finals. Out of those teams, Stade Rennais have just sacked their manager. They're the only team above us, and the other 2 are below us. So I think that's our competition for the taking, and hopefully we can win it, because that will guarantee us, at the very least, Europa League football for next season. Around that, our league form has been mixed. We had the derby against Nice. We scored some really nice goals in this. Bad pun. 4-0 win away from home. I thought when we did this, oh, here we go. We're going to click into gear. I won't show you all the goals, but there is one in particular I do want to show you that was scored off the bench by Cullen Hudson-Odoi. It was an absolute stunner, but that was a very good win, 4-0 away from home, and I thought, here we go, we're going to get marching up the table. I'll show you this Hudson-Odoi goal first before we get into the rest of that. So we got the ball inside his own half here on the right wing, did Hudson-Odoi. It was the 83rd minute. We were at a pretty comfy lead. Let's 1-5 from well outside the box. That is going to be up there for goal of the season here. At 1 goal of the month in Ligue 1. That was a really good goal. We've got some other ones that have been pretty good, but that one is the one that since we took over that stood out in my mind the most, and that was such a good performance from us, that goal just capping it off nicely. So that was a very good performance. Off the back of that, some frustrating 2-2 draws. Montpellier, who are in a similar league position to us, 2-2 at home. Look, that was a game that we were actually lucky to get a draw out of. We got a goal in the 93rd minute, I believe, through Macedo. A game in which we did really dominate, but we just didn't have the scoreline to show it. You look at the stats, and you could say we got FM. They had 3 shots on target. They scored 2 of them. 90th minute goal to Macedo. An offside goal against Hudson-Odoi, which looked a bit harsh, but Moran, an Irish striker for them. That was a pretty frustrating draw. And against Strasbourg, we had the lead in this game twice, but they came back twice away from home. A team down in 14th when we took them on. Another frustrating draw, but off the back of that, we took on Nantes at home and picked up a nice 3-0 win. And what that means going into today's game against Lille, which is pretty important now, because if we look at the competitions tab and we go to Ligue 1, we are in 6th. We are the best of the teams on 36 points. There are 5 of us. We are the best due to goal difference, and Lille are the next best, hot on our heels. A win today would be very much appreciated, because if we drop points today, we are again fighting for the Europa League places from the league. And if we want to do what I told the board I thought we could do and make it into the top 3 for Champions League, we really need to start closing the gap on Marseille. Lyon 10 points in front of us with 14 games to go. that might be a little bit too far. I mean, if we get a good run of form going, especially now that our players are a bit more familiar with the tactic, then maybe we can pick them up. But I think Marseille, especially considering how well we played against them without winning, I think we might be able to catch them. But it all depends on our league form. We really need to get more consistent with that. And Paris Saint-Germain are just blowing everyone else out the water, so there's no point even thinking about winning the title. It is all about trying to get Champions League football next season, or at the very least Europa League, either through finishing in the top 5, I believe it is. We'll just go through the rules here because I also didn't show you guys this last episode. Yeah, we need to be in the top 5 for the Europa League, otherwise we go into that Europa League light. Hopefully we can do that. Hopefully we can make up some more ground over the next few episodes, although in the next episode after this, we are taking PSG on, and that is going to be tough. So some wins either side of that would be nice. In terms of squad registration, this is something I didn't bring up yesterday. You only allow 4 non-EU players, but there's some interesting countries classed as included in the EU, such as all African, Caribbean and Pacific group of states nations, and all nations in Oceania, excluding New Zealand. So there are quite a few nations where you're not from Europe, but you count as being from Europe, if that makes sense. It's a bit weird. Pretty much we can bring players in from most regions in the world and we don't have to worry about registration. It's only really South America. If we start bringing more than a couple of wonder kids over from South America, will be when that squad registration does become a bit difficult for us. I think we're right on the verge of that. If we go to our squad, we'll just show you guys this quickly. And we do have 4 non-EU players at the moment, so we are on the brink of that. We've got Sandro Alberto, who to be fair isn't actually going to get much game time. We don't have to register him in the future if we don't need him. We've got Loftus-Cheek, counts as a foreigner from England, which is interesting. We've got Flavio Henrique from Brazil, and we've also got Estevão Carrillo, who is from Brazil also. So not sure how Hudson-Odoi counts as being from the EU, but Loftus-Cheek doesn't. That's a bit strange, but we'll deal with it. We'll see how we get on. Loftus-Cheek is a player who we might look at letting go in the next transfer window anyway if some good offers come in for him. But we will get into today's game against Lille. It is important. Hopefully we can get the job done. We will come back when the TV coverage starts. So here is the TV coverage. We are the away team. Lille are going to be in the red. You can see their team here. Conor Gallagher, they've got a Semedo at the back. A decent team. It is Ruben Semedo too. There's our team. It is the same one as we went through earlier. Just making a few changes from when we took over with Mikado and Tessier coming in. But as you can see, a win here today would really entrench us in that top 6. And at least put us in a good position for European football next season. Lille are in the red with the blue, and we are in our yellow and blue outfit, playing left to right and kicking off away from home. Now, high tempo has been suiting at the moment. Dembele is a player who doesn't like the high pressing intensity, so he's a player who often gets sacrificed when we need to make a change, just because Hudson-Odoi does seem to be a bit better off with that. So it's interesting seeing which players suit this. I do love Dembele's stats for the position we've got him in, the inside 4, but yeah, he doesn't like that high pressing intensity that we've got, so maybe that's another one we have to consider if a good offer comes in for him though. But after 20 minutes, not much happening, it's still 0-0. And we do have a free kick now, though. Puig will put this in. Tapsoba gets on the end of it. It's a fallen to him rather kindly there. He actually got his foot to it, but straight at Donnelly in goal, a pretty promising goalkeeper. From what my scouts have told him, we are able to reclaim the ball from his clearance, though, when Dembele is off. He finds Mikado. It's a good shot, but it was a nice save from their keeper. And it remains 0-0. We've just got a nice little spell here in the 20th minute, and Mulder with a header that's just over the bar. Good spell there, but we can't get anything out of it. It's still 0-0 after 25 minutes. Throw in to Monaco here. Mulder puts it in, finds Santis here, but it comes back out to him. The Turkish left back he is now. Goes back to Ampadu. He will find Tessier, the big money signing. He finds Dembele, knocking it about nicely here. Tessier. He just keeps the ball there into Dembele. Whips one in on recall of a shot. His third one he gets off, but Donnelly in goal holds it. We're looking the better team, but need to get something to show it as it remains 0-0 as we come up to the 40-minute mark. And it is a throw into Monaco. Ampadu will put it in. Yeah, these long throws not working as well as they were earlier this year. We might have to bin those off, and it is Giannon who is running forward here. He has a shot at this block, but only back out to another Lille player. Puts that in. Now Enrique's going to get on the counter here, and hopefully he can sprint past players with his pace. It's a free kick though, so not much of a highlight there. Still 0-0 as we approach half-time. And that is half-time. You can see that we have absolutely dominated the game shots-wise, that we have really kept Lille quiet at home, which is nice, but a couple of really good chances that we didn't take in that little spell of highlights that we did have there. But yeah, a little bit frustrating, but hopefully we can get something to show for our dominance in the second half. We'll tell the boys, you'll do what the assistant recommends there, tell them that we deserve to win. We'll tell everyone that we have faith in them, because that always works, and we'll get into the second half and see how our players are going. Ricky Puig has picked up a little knock, it told me, but his stamina doesn't seem too bad yet, and he is quite important for us too. So we'll leave him on for now, but that is a change that we may look to make. Either bring on a Stamanic, the fellow Kiwi, or you can bring Loftus-Cheek on for him. But after 50 minutes, it's still 0-0. Goal kick to Lille here. Donnelly will boot it long. Hopefully we can get on the end of this, although, yep, Mulder does. He gets that up to Enrique and back to Aguirre. They play a little bit of a 1-2, and Enrique, now the young Brazilian wonder kid, according to the media, he looks to find Dembele, heads it back in for Mercado, but the save is made pretty comfortably by Donnelly. Still 0-0 as we get up to the 55th minute. Coming up to the 70-minute mark, it's been a very quiet game, apart from the couple of highlights in the first half and that one for Mercado in the second half. It is a game that we are looking pretty good at. Puig is injured though. We will bring Stamanic on for him just because Loftus-Cheek is a little bit less match fit. We'll make that change. All the rest of the guys are playing well without being awful, to be fair, so we'll see how we get on, and we'll play the last 20 minutes. Hopefully we can find a goal. Okay, another player on a red heart here after 73 minutes. Mulder will come off. We'll bring Alvaro Fernandez on for him on the left. You can see he's actually improved since when we first got here, and his potential ability's gone up as well, so that's come out of nowhere. So a little bit frustrating, didn't realise he was going to improve, but we won't complain about players improving here. We'll make that change, and hopefully we can get something going, because we've dominated the game, but we haven't got anything to show for it with 15 minutes to go, and now it's Lille with a corner. This would be a kick in the teeth. Gomez puts it in. Sevillano heads it clear, but back out to Gomez. Puts the ball in. It finds Gallagher, and it's over the bar. It has been missed. Okay, that's good. Those subs that came up threw me off. It's still 0-0 as we come into the last 12 minutes, and we've got another red heart, and it's Dembele. We'll bring Hudson-Odoi on. Hopefully he can make the difference for us yet again. And yeah, 12 minutes to go, still 0-0. Throw in to Monaco that Ampadu will take. He finds on Ligue. Back out to Fernandez, fresh off the bench. What can he do? Puts one in for Aguirre, but it's wide, and it just doesn't look like our day. Still 0-0 with 10 to go. Corner to Monaco on Ligue to put it in for us here. He puts it in. Can someone get their head to it? Oh, surely Aguirre. How has he missed that? But he was offside anyway. Oh dear, that was a good chance, but in the end it wouldn't have counted. Still 0-0, and we're coming up to the 88th minute. I suppose a draw away at Lille isn't a bad result, but when you look at the stats, it's a bit of a frustrating one. Yet again, every time we get ourselves in a nice position, it seems that we somewhat throw it away at the moment, so it's a little bit frustrating, although Gallagher gives Mercado the ball here, and he can put Hudson-Odoi away here, I think, if he wants to, although it doesn't look like he does. Just outside the box, he'll find Ampadu, his shot blocked. It will get out to Tessier, and that's the highlight. That's frustrating, because that looked a good opportunity to put Hudson-Odoi or on Ligue, and it is a 0-0 draw. Yeah, not the most exciting game, I'm afraid. We did dominate it. They barely hit a highlight. The only shot from Gallagher that was over the bar. We had multiple chances to get a goal there, but in the end it just did not fall our way. XG-wise, we should have been winning that, so that's a frustrating draw, but we still haven't lost a game since we've got here, and you can sort of see the signs of improvement from what we walked into when we were 10th in the league. We've steadily worked our way up, and hopefully we can stay in the mix with a draw against a fairly decent opposition like Lille. We'll tell the boys, we'll tell them we weren't happy. I feel like a mix of that and they're unlucky because we played pretty well. It's just that we need to get more out of our front three sometimes, make them get them to put those chances away a bit better. Yeah, Mercado possibly snatching his chances a bit. We do stay in the top 6 for now, thanks to that goal difference, but the Reims and Lens can catch us up should they win their games, but we're not far off. But unfortunately, the more we draw games like this, the less chance we are going to have of getting into the Champions League, unless, of course, we do well in the Europa League, which is the other thing that we've got going on still here at the club. And yeah, as you can see, the form since we've got here is mixed after that result, but to be fair, it could be worse too, even in the red dots, so I can't complain too much. Just a few too many yellow dots in the league for my liking. But that will do for today's episode. We will probably play the Ongur and the Nimes game off camera, and we will come back for that PSG game in tomorrow's episode. And off the back of that, we will get into the Europa League second knockout round, where we are not sure who we will be playing yet. There's some big teams in the first round. If we have a quick look at that, the likes of Ajax, Leipzig, Milan, Dortmund, Tottenham, Marseille are in there, Lille. So there's some teams who could give us a bit of trouble, I think, but also some teams who we should have the better of if things go our way. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, that Europa League. We are expected to make the semi-finals, so we've got another couple of rounds to get through of that. But we've definitely improved since we've got here. It's just trying to get a bit more consistency with our wins, because we're letting a few too many points drop at the moment. But if you did enjoy today's episode, the transfer roundup, the competition roundup, and that little draw against Lille, yeah, sorry, but we created enough chances, really should have been winning that. I can't control my strikers at the moment. If you did enjoy that, please do leave a thumbs up. Also subscribe to the channel and turn that notification bell if you have not already. And until tomorrow's episode, where we're taking on PSG, that is going to be tough. Enjoy the rest of your day. Cheers.